a $6.5 million toward our $50 million goal. And we'll have special branding for that as well. It'll be a winner circle branding with a person that has their arms in the air and an arch in the center, which actually creates an eye, or it looks like a small little person with sort of a half a circle over it. It's just the campaign firm did a great job on the branding for the campaign. And Chris, thanks. So this really just breaks down what we're looking to raise to get to the $20 million and the number of gifts that we need to get there. Again, it's, you know, we're fortunate that we received already the $5 million towards the $20 million campaign, but we certainly have our work ahead of us to get to the 20 million, but we have identified at least 207 donors that have the capability of helping us get to that $50 million. Okay, Chris? I have to move my little screen here. So we did a breakdown of where the opportunities for the foundation lie. Of course, the East Coast, New York, we know that we have 73 prospects, the West Coast and California 29, the Midwest, Chicago 34, the DC area, Maryland 29, Florida 23. We have some in Texas, we have 5, the Rocky Mountains 4. And part of this campaign is really to become a global campaign. We fund research from around the world, and our programs should reflect that as well. So we do know that we have some opportunity to grow our programs internationally as well. And we have a good start with already having 3 individuals there. All right, Chris. So one of the really exciting parts of the campaign is that we get to bring in leadership to help us really be successful. And we're going to do this in several ways. We're going to have an overall campaign chairs. And as of today, David Brent is one of our co-chairs, and he is our board chair. And then we have another campaign chair, Marsha Link, who has been involved with the foundation for about 10 years. So we're excited to have those 2 in place right now. And we have identified 2 other folks and just waiting to have their decision if they're on board to be the other co-chairs. And then we're going to build it out by national division. Campaign chair, there'll be a chair over the national division, and then we'll have committee members, about 12 committee members underneath the national chair. There'll be a board and directors and trustees chair, and then 3 to 5 individuals under that. And the next generation, really bringing in those young leaders from across the country and working closely with our strategic council to identify great opportunities for those committee members. John is building out that legacy division, and he'll have a chair there and a couple of 3 to 5 committee members. And then that international division will have a chair and then identify 3 to 5 leaders internationally that can help move the program forward. All right, Chris, over to you.
So when you think about all the efforts that we are working on, you know, we need to have materials that speak to the campaign, that speaks to all the efforts that we're doing. So we'll be creating a variety of collateral, from brochures to folders. Excuse me, what I have on the screen is actually just a small montage of what the folder would look like. It's dark blue with a large headline in light blue that matches our brand colors. And it says, "Together we envision a brighter future." And then when you open it inside, there'll be a business card, a holder, a letter, and then we'll also have a case statement brochure that speaks to, you know, what are we trying to accomplish in these 5 years? In that case statement brochure, we'll have a headline that says, "Together, we'll see an end to vision loss." And then it's winning the fight. And for those this year, they will also receive a copy of the annual report. So when you look at it, when the brochure is first open, the case statement, we'll have a story, a personal view from David Brent. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? And so he'll have his personal side and why he's invested in not only the foundation, but within this campaign. What we'll also develop in conjunction, because we can't get to everyone and be face to face, especially now with COVID. We also want to make sure that there's an interactive experience that brings that case statement together. So we'll develop a campaign website for this. We're working right now with several of our donors and volunteers and science advisory board members to create a video that can be shared that speaks to the 50 years that we have been working really hard to find those treatments and cures, and talk about the celebration of those wins that we've had. The website will also include personal stories, taking an extension of the beacon stories that we've developed and been publishing every other week. We'll also celebrate those profiles of those individuals who are in the space of the science, hear from the experts and what breakthroughs they've made. At the same time, those volunteers and major donors who've been giving to us over the years, what is their personal commitment? And then throughout this whole website, we'll also speak to, a timeline of the 50 years and all those milestones that we've had across the board. I'm going to hand it over to Judy and John for our legacy program.
Yeah, John, take it away.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
What about seeing me? It's even worse, I know, but can you?
We can see you too, John.
Okay.
You're good.
Sorry, I had a little hiccup getting on. So hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. Hope you had a good Halloween. We experienced our 5th year in a row with not a single trick-or-treater. Totally not COVID related. We just don't get them where we are. So it's kind of sad. But the good news is, of course, what? Candy. Candy for John. Before I get into what we're specifically doing with the legacy campaign, as far as the engagement campaign, let me just briefly remind you about what legacy giving is at the foundation. So we currently have what we call a legacy society. And those are individuals who have raised their hand, who have told us that they have created a legacy gift, meaning a gift that comes to us upon their passing, that they've created that in their estate plan. And there's lots and lots of different ways people do that. And importantly for this campaign, we don't ask anybody to tell us for the Legacy Society what the value of that legacy gift is. First of all, it's pretty uncertain. I mean, people can change their minds. You don't know what your assets are going to be necessarily upon death. So we don't even ask that question, and rarely do we get anyone volunteering that information. But the legacy revenue to the foundation is a huge source of income for us for research. Depending upon what you read, there's literally trillions with a T of dollars that are going to change hands in the next couple of decades, and all kinds of charities are of course trying to get in on receiving.
Hold on just a minute, John. I think you got muted. Kelsey, are you muted by chance, or Chris, can you unmute John?
Yeah, John, hit Alt-A on your keyboard.
And he's under Kelsey's name, so I don't know if maybe Kelsey muted herself. There you go.
We hear you. Perfect.
Can anyone just quickly, where was I when I went off? Any idea or no? Doesn't matter.
You were just talking about documented, that we didn't ask folks to document in the past.
Okay, so yeah, very few people of our 400 to 500 Legacy Society members do we know what the value of that legacy gift will be upon their ultimate passing. So there's literally trillions of dollars that are going to be changing hands in the next couple of decades or so, and it's a huge opportunity for the foundation to really try to raise our revenue source significantly from legacy. I mean, at one point, not all that long ago, an average legacy gift to us, and they're all over the board, from a few $100s up to 7 figures, multi-million-dollar gifts. Not very many of those, unfortunately, but around $80,000 is an average gift. So many of you know that that's more than some of our walks raise in an entire year. So as far as the bang for the buck and the what it's worth to work on legacy giving, it's really, really important for the foundation moving forward. So the legacy campaign, it's the legacy component of the engagement campaign. As Judy mentioned, we have a goal to raise $20 million. That is not going to be, however, defined as cash in hand. You think about it, for the obvious reasons. We don't know when people are going to pass away. So the way that we will count legacy gifts for the campaign would be one of 3 ways. Remember, I mentioned that we don't ask people to tell us what their value of their gift is. But if they did happen to do that and are current members of our Legacy Society, and it literally is just a handful of people, if any of those people make a new legacy gift or raise the value or increase the value of their legacy gift, the increased value will be counted toward the 20 million. The next group of people will be those members of the Legacy Society, again, those have already told us that we're in their estate plan, who will voluntarily reveal the approximate value of their gift. And we are going to take advantage of this campaign to very gently and with sensitivity ask people if they'd be willing to share the approximate value of their legacy gift. And I'm confident that people will do that. As a matter of fact, a few weeks ago, and we really haven't even officially launched this campaign yet, but a few weeks ago, we did this same presentation to chapter presidents. And there were about 25 of the chapter presidents across the country on the call. And just from that call, without even asking, just explaining like I did to you, I got an email the next day from somebody who told me what the value of his legacy gift was. I got another email from somebody who happens to be on this call, shall remain nameless unless she wants to volunteer her name. Another gentleman emailed me and said he'd like to get me involved with doing a gift planning strategy with him. And then another person said that it motivated her to actually complete her legacy gift, which she did about a week ago, and told me the value. So we almost have close to $2 million right now pledged toward the campaign. So I was really excited about that because it did show that really didn't even ask, just mentioning that this is how we're going to do it, people came forward. So if there's anyone on this call who has created a legacy gift and you want to let me know, and you want to let me know the value, shoot me an email. Otherwise, sit tight, and we will be doing the marketing and hope that you'll consider it. One of the famous taglines, I guess, if you will, for marketing legacy gifts and not-for-profits is that something to the effect of, not everyone is in a position to make a current gift. Their life situation is such that, money's tight, and we all get that. So maybe they can't write that check or can't contribute to a walk or something. But everybody can make a legacy gift. I mean, me, for example, I have made the foundation the beneficiary of my 403B plan with the foundation. So some of the money that the foundation is contributing to that is going to go back to the foundation upon my death. My significant other here, Julie, who many of you know, she's created a plan whereby 10% of everything that she has upon her death will go to the foundation. And that's just a couple of examples. And I'm telling you that, by the way, not breaching confidentiality. We profiled her in a legacy newsletter with that information. But there's a lot of things that you can do. I mean, I have kids, Julie's got kids, so you can take care of your family and you can leave the foundation something as part of your legacy. So the biggest pool, the biggest bucket, though, from where we're going to hopefully get gifts toward this legacy campaign will be new people. You know, I hope that all of it would come from that, actually. So the bigger pool we have of a legacy society, the better. So we're hoping to motivate and encourage people to create that legacy gift and to reveal to us the value of that gift. So it's a big number. I think it's attainable. And as Judy mentioned, we're putting together a committee from a handful of people from across the country to help with this. And stay tuned for more. I think that's all, Judy.
Great, thanks, John. Great job. Chris.
So we're going to move, yeah. So as part of the campaign, and I actually turned my video off because the internet is having some issues today. But one of the things that we are really focused on is the additional $10 million that we're going to get over the 10 years. And of the $10 million, it's comprised of our broad-based donors and volunteers that we're trying to acquire, and even new donors and volunteers. So what we're focused on is in 5 key areas. One is direct marketing. That's traditional mail to email to social to DIY fundraising. We just renamed our program to Raising Our Sites. Corporate partnerships, you know, trying to find those national sponsors and partners that we can bring upon to the foundation that we haven't had or have lost those relationships. How do we rebuild those? And then chapter development, which Judy will talk to a little bit more. And then our 50th anniversary event. And so that's over the 5 years. That's an incremental 10 million that we're going to try to accomplish. So one of the things that we kind of wanted to highlight is we did a test back in August with a new music series called Music to Our Eyes, where we featured the ex-ambassadors, a popular band. And that was just a sit down personal conversation and concert where Jason Menzo, our COO, interviewed both of the brothers, Sam and Casey Harris. And during that, we probably had almost 2,000 people that registered for the event. But of those 2,000 people, we had about 500 who were new to us because they were followers of the band Ex-Ambassadors. So as you can see, there's opportunity for us to tap into a newer audience by trying new things. And we actually have a new Music to Our Eyes that's going to be coming in December. So more information on that one will be coming. Then I'll pass it over to Judy for our DIY.
And Chris, back to the ex-ambassadors, that's still on our, I don't think you said this, that's still on our website that folks can go and listen to that, right?
Correct. So we have that both available on our website, on our Facebook channel and YouTube channel. And even within that first week of airing the special, we had probably about 14,000 views of that video.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we're really excited about our Raising Our Sites, our do-it-yourself fundraising program. And the chapters, we see this as just a great opportunity for the chapters. You know, back when I first joined the foundation in 2006, we were just beginning the Vision Walk program. And the Northern Virginia chapter was one of our first chapters to host a Vision Walk. So many of you are very familiar with this. And so I see our Raising Our Sites working in partnerships with our chapters very similar to the way the chapters really helped spearhead our Vision Walk program. Our Vision Walk program would not have raised the millions and millions of dollars it has raised if it wasn't for our chapter program. And so the do-it-yourself fundraising is really anybody in any market can host whatever kind of event they want. And so it's similar to a walk where they can, reach out to their friends and families and neighbors. They can do a bike race. They can do a marathon. They can climb a mountain. They can do a bowling event. And so we see this just growing across the country. And especially even in some of the markets where we might not have a chapter, this is a great opportunity for those folks. And we just really think that raising our sites, the do-it-yourself fundraising, is really going to raise millions and millions of dollars for the foundation. We just recently posted the toolkit on our website. And I know Chris has plans to do a lot of marketing around raising our sites. Renee is going to be leading a large team of chapter engagement managers. Certainly the Washington, D.C. chapter will have a chapter engagement manager. And one of the initiatives that they'll really be working hard to promote and getting folks engaged is the do-it-yourself fundraising, the Raising Our Sites. So I know you'll hear lots about it. We're really excited. You'll hear more about it probably at every chapter meeting and social media and all the other avenues that Chris will be promoting it. Thanks, Chris.
So as we were kind of talking about, from a corporate perspective, we really want to get those partners involved. So as a part of the Victory for Vision campaign, we're creating a Share the Vision partnership. And basically, this is a structured corporate partnership for us to be able to elicit those larger, broader sponsorships that will come in for the campaign, for walks, for chapter programs, and really, anything that we identify to increase that awareness across the broad base. With that too, we'll make sure that there's a guide for structuring the partnerships. There may be, from a local perspective within the chapters, there's good relationships with, let's say, a local Subaru dealer. How do we build those relationships to make them into something bigger? That's regional to national. So those are some of the things that we'll be looking at. We'll have templates that are created for when you're emailing constituents within that corporate space. How do we build those relationships? We'll also have a deck that's compiled that talks about not only the foundation, but also the campaign and what we're trying to achieve with that campaign. And then also within that, there'll be lots of pieces, within this toolkit, but there'll also be a sample promotional submission form. So that way, every corporation's a little bit different when you look at it from a grant to a sponsorship to a partnership. So we'll have some copy that would be available from a messaging perspective that everyone would be able to use as they're soliciting those corporate partners. Back to Judy.
All right. So very exciting. The foundation is turning 50 years old next September. And we just really want to celebrate and honor the 50 years. So we're going to host the biggest event that the foundation has ever produced, and with the expectation that it meets a $2 million goal. So it's going to have to be a really incredible event. And the other thing that we have to keep in mind is whatever we have it look like, we know that we don't know what September 2021 might look like, and that we might have to, we may not all come together in person. Maybe we're going to be doing something like this, but it's going to have to be just really incredible. So we're going to start promoting it at our virtual gala that'll be hosted in February. So starting in February all the way through September, you'll be hearing lots about this big celebration event that we plan to host. And I think we talk about that a little bit on the next page. And so what we're anticipating is an Oscar style, an exclusive, a must attend, must do, high touch and high tech event. So again, you know, we've all been so fortunate that Gordon Gunn has been such a driving force for this organization over the last 50 years. And so we just want to make sure that this just hits it out of the park, and that not only are we celebrating what has happened over the last 50 years, but we're raising the significant funds as well at that event. All righty. I think is the next one the vision. Yeah. So I'm going to hand it over. That is, well, maybe Chris and John, if we just sit tight for 1 minute. Does anyone have any questions about the campaign overall? I know it was a lot of information, but is there any questions for either me or John, Cornel, or Chris before we have Kelsey talk about the walk? All right. So why don't we hand it over to Kelsey? Oh, and go ahead and hand it over to Kelsey, and she can talk about the upcoming Vision Walk.
Hi everyone, Kelsey Miller. I'm the events director for the Mid-Atlantic region. I am so happy you are all here today. I'm also very excited to talk about the upcoming Vision Walk. As Judy mentioned, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has been funding research, raising awareness for retinal diseases for almost 50 years. Because of supporters like many of you, over $2 million has been raised in 15 years through the Virginia Vision Walk, and over $1 million has been raised 10 years through our Montgomery County Vision Walk. So in order to maximize our success, we are very excited to announce that in spring 2020, the Northern Virginia and Montgomery County Vision Walks will be joining forces and will be making a much larger impact regionally. So our walk chairs, our walk co-chairs, Dolores, Donna Burke-Tehan, Jody Kelly, and I would love to invite you to join us next spring. We're going to be at the Lincoln Memorial on Saturday, May 1st, 2021, for our inaugural Washington, D.C. Metro Vision Walk. We're going to walk all together, nation's capital, and taking very, very important steps to the cure in a beautiful, beautiful city. So the course will be starting at the reflecting pool and be able to walk some of the most famous landmarks in DC. And we'll be talking through this a little bit further about the details. But I wanted to say thank you to all of our Vision Walks who have helped us spread the Foundation's message over the last 15 years. We are incredibly thankful for everyone that has walked with us, helped raise awareness, funds, and sponsored. I know and recognize many that are on the call today and have all played a big part in that. Now, our goal clearly with this merger is to build relationships and increase brand awareness, visibility, and engage and grow our partnerships with community partners. Today, more than ever before, it's word of mouth that will help us stand out. So we hope that you'll join us in raising awareness by either inviting your friends, family, neighbors, creating a team, helping us raise, fundraise, sponsor, or join as an individual. There's so many ways that you can help us create a very successful event. We also welcome input and ideas on how to engage and raise awareness locally through businesses, our community, and organizations. So with that being said, if you are looking to get involved and would like to help Davida, Donna, Jody, and I create a really fun, meaningful event, we hope that you join our committee. We're looking forward to bringing in new leadership and new ideas to this Vision Walk. So we hope you stay tuned. We're going to be hosting a call this fall to discuss the walk further and act and just find some wonderful ways to grow that Vision Walk. If you would like to join our committee as a team captain, a walker, would like to sponsor, or just question, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you don't already have my email address, it is amiller@fightingblind.org. I look forward to speaking with you and getting together in the.
Why doesn't it say Saturday, May 1st, 2021?
Yes.
That slide said 2020.
Oh, it said 2020. Oh, I apologize. It should say 2021. We're looking for the future.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to go back in time. So that was our mistake on that one.
Any questions about the vision walk? Okay. Judy, I send it back to you.
All right. So thank you, everyone. I would like to hand it over to Mr. Shaverman to say a few words. And then following Ben, we'll have Davida and Eric close us out. So Ben, over to you.
Thanks, Judy. Great to be on the Zoom call with everybody from the region. As you, I'm sure, remember, last spring, late winter and spring, when COVID hit, we had to pivot our in-person chapter meetings and our regional seminars. We had to move them all online, and we had to do that very quickly. And I'm pleased to say it was relatively successful. We had, I think, between all 4 webinars, we called them national webinars, we had about 1,000 people attend. So this time around, I'm pleased to say that we've had a little more time to plan, and we're in that process right now. And we have 5 webinars planned to communicate science and give you updates on the latest research between this month and the end of our fiscal year, which is in June. So we have 5 webinars, and while they will be open to anybody nationally, they will be hosted by local chapters. So for each of the 5, we'll have 2 chapters co-host those webinars. And we're still planning, but DC chapter will be one of the hosts. I live in DC, so I insist that we host one of the chapters, one of the chapter meetings. So our first one will be on November 21st, and it will feature Paul Bernstein, University of Utah, who is one of the, if not the foremost experts in nutrition for people with retinal degenerative diseases. And he's an expert not only in vitamin A, but fatty acid therapies and other nutritional approaches for trying to preserve vision. And then I will lead off that webinar with an update just on whatever science news I think is most current and interesting at the moment. That'll be relatively short. And then the next 4 webinars will occur in 2021. Our next one will be January, and that will be on gene therapy. We're in the early stages of planning that. We'll do a stem cell webinar. We'll do a webinar on clinical trials. And I'm excited to say that one of our webinars will be dedicated to low vision. And as a foundation, our commitment is to research, treatments, and cures. But we realize that while those treatments and cures are moving through the pipeline, people want to make the most of whatever vision they have remaining. And so we'll be pulling together experts in the low vision space, whether it's optometrists, occupational therapists, rehab specialists, to talk about low vision resources. So that is a very exciting new thing for us. And again, with all of those webinars, in addition to focusing on a specific topic, we'll be providing any news, any exciting developments in that space. And if I can take just another quick moment, one of my roles at the foundation is leading a small but mighty department to do outreach to eye care professionals around the country. Because one thing that's always been very evident is that when a person is diagnosed with an inherited retinal disease, in many cases, if they're not at an academic institution or one of the leading clinics, the doctors really don't have a lot to offer their patients. But the good news is the Foundation Fighting Blindness has a lot of resources to offer patients. We have no-cost genetic testing. We have a registry. We have the great chapter webinars I talked about. Obviously, a lot of information on our website. So my little team, me, Michelle Glaze, and Katie Lakota, we're working with eye care professionals to help them understand what those resources are. So when somebody's diagnosed with an inherited retinal disease, they can help their patients by referring them on to us. And then we get them into the family, into the chapter. Maybe they can do a little fundraising and help further our mission. So that department, I'm pleased to say we've covered a lot of ground in a year and a half. We have a network of about 700 organizations and doctors. And we actually host webinars ourselves that are targeting the eye care professionals. And a couple of weeks ago, we had our second continuing education webinar for eye care professionals. And that was titled Practical Management for Patients with Inherited Retinal Diseases. That course was delivered by Rachel Huckfeld at Mass Eye and Ear. She did an outstanding job. And we had nearly 100 eye care professionals from around the country attend. And we have more of those activities in the works. So just some activities on the science, outreach, and education front. So I'll hand it back to you, Judy or Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Ben, and thanks for being here. And we look forward to you attending all the Washington, D.C. metro area chapter activities moving forward. And just quickly, what I neglected, I was going to have Renee just briefly say a few words about the chapters. What I might say first, Renee, quickly, is just that we've been fortunate as an organization, and I won't go into the details, but we received a significant grant to help develop and grow our chapter program. And it's very exciting. And Renee was brought on board to spearhead that initiative. So I'm going to hand it to Renee for just a minute to just talk briefly about some of the activities that are going to be happening over the next few months with the program.
Thanks, Judy. So absolutely. Thank you guys for really allowing me to join the team. I think this is a great time in the Foundation Fighting Blindness's success for the future endeavor with this wonderful grant. And so basically, as we've talked about how we want to look at the chapters moving forward, how we want to really make strides to make a difference, we're going to be bringing on these chapter engagement managers. This team will encompass folks placed strategically around the country. They'll be working with groups of chapters. They'll be looking at ways to enhance what we're already doing and ways to really bring on new volunteers into the chapters and new partners to really look to expand fundraising opportunities and to meet some of the exponential goals that we have. Some of our first target markets, of course, will be looking at opportunities for the Mid-Atlantic area, the Northeast, looking for some opportunities to really have collaboration with the partners that are already in place, with our philanthropy officers, Meg and others, and also, of course, with Kelsey and the great work that she's doing with the walk. So we're going to really be counting on the leadership from our chapter presidents and those of you that are active in the chapters to help us navigate once those managers are brought on board and how they can really be of help and enhancement to those communities. So I'm really looking forward to working with each of you more closely. And I'm on day 6 or 7 now, so a lot to learn and really an exciting adventure ahead for all of us. So thanks, Judy.
Thanks, and I can't wait till a year from now to hear the great things that have happened with the chapters and new chapters, because in the grant we also have to develop some new chapters as well. So it'll be exciting to see what happens. So I'm going to hand it over to Davida and Eric to close out the meeting. Davida?
Make sure you unmute, Davida, if you're muted.
Chris, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Davida, you could use the Alt.
Okay.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Am I unmuted now?
You're
Yep.
unmuted.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Thanks so much for joining today, taking the time. And before I turn it over to Eric, I just wanted to share a few things. First, I'm very excited, looking for the future. I am thrilled for everything that we've accomplished, really looking forward with promise to the future. Those who've been on the call and our extended large community that have brought us forth to where we are today. It's just amazing. We've accomplished so much by everybody just giving in small ways. And in a small way, I am that unnamed person that John Cornell referred to. I will happily share that we are legacy program participants. And everybody can do that in a small way. It doesn't have to be that you have this huge estate. So I'm happy to be part of that. And I am grateful to have and I working together and the volunteers who've been on part of this effort, because the foundation is giving us the tools and spearheading the effort to end all blinding retinal diseases. But it's important that we remember that as individuals, we're the heart and soul and of this community, and that it's important that we continue and expand our outreach to try and connect with people who are losing their vision, because as many of us know, it is a very difficult journey. And it is so important to have partners helping each other along the way. So I hope you will help us expand our outreach also in that area, because that is so important. And then growing our community partnerships with organizations that you may be affiliated with. Think about that. And can do to help our grow our effort in that area. On that note, Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm on my phone, so for those of you who can see, I apologize that you don't get to see my face. Enjoy my Facebook picture. There's very little that I can add on to what Davida just said. I feel very similarly, and I will share that I'm really excited about sort of this crossing of the Potomac that we're doing here with Montgomery County and Northern Virginia into the Washington, D.C. chapter. I think it just opens up worlds of opportunity, both in terms of engagement and the network of people, which is really important to me personally, and then obviously the outreach to the business community, to the medical community. And I will share with everyone, this is the first I heard of some of the upcoming webinars. And Ben, I as someone with low vision and someone who's been an active member of the foundation, I'm very excited to attend those as well. So I will be brief and just thank everyone for attending, and hopefully we will see here and eventually be in the same room as each other again.
Thanks, Eric. That was great. And Davida, thank you so much. We have 2 minutes. We did really great with all of us in getting that done in an hour. Does anyone have any questions before we say goodbye? We have a couple minutes. And Chris, I'll look.
Judy, it's John Cornell. It's not a question. Davida, I knew I could count on you to raise your hand. Way to go. And Jim, I think you might be on the call. Thank you too, because I know you're part of that plan. So
He
thanks
sure
much.
is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, well, everyone, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will all hopefully be in person in a room very soon, because I know I certainly need that. So everyone take care and be safe, and we will be in touch soon. Bye-bye. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Everyone have a good day.